Craig and Cindy Corrie join me now from Haifa, Israel. Thanks to both of you for being with us here on CNN International. You were in court today. The driver of the bulldozer who killed your daughter testified, but he was behind a wooden partition. You wanted to see him in person. Cindy, if I can ask you first, what was it like hearing his voice today?
It was a relief in a way to have this day come because, as you can imagine, there was quite a lot of anticipation about his appearance and our being in court. It was very disturbing and disappointing to us that the state's attorneys and that the courts determined that there would be a partition so that we would not be able to see the bulldozer driver. We were able to hear his words. I felt personally, this is the second witness that we've seen testify behind a screen, and we felt that it was disassociating in a way. It distanced this person from us. I hope to see a whole human being today and to hear from a whole human being. Instead, we got the words, sometimes pretty conflicted, pretty confused words from this person behind the screen. I think that it made it difficult for us to see him as a whole human being, frankly.
And Craig, what were your thoughts today as you listened through a microphone to the words of the man, this ex-Israeli army soldier, talking about him not having seen your daughter, that this was an accidental death? What was at that moment going through your mind?
Well, a lot of his testimony was actually kind of confusing. He didn't seem to remember what he had written earlier this year, let alone what he had testified to with the military police 7 years ago. So it was a bit confusing. I think, as you showed, I was in Vietnam a long time ago, and the thing is, he didn't even remember what time of day it was when he killed Rachel. And so it seems like it was another day at the office for this guy. You know, it wasn't important enough to remember just the basic facts. And I think if I'd killed somebody, I'd certainly remember what happened that day, how it happened, all these sort of things. Those would be seared in my memory because that's really it was the worst thing that could happen to us to lose Rachel, but it's also a huge diminishment of this soldier's soul, it seems to me. When you kill somebody, that's about as bad as it gets. I should think you'd be able to remember that.
Let me ask you, this is a civil lawsuit that you've brought against the Israeli Defense Ministry, the State of Israel. You even tried to sue Caterpillar, the maker, of course, of these bulldozers. What do you, as parents, having gone through the worst possible thing parents can go through, the death of a child, what do you hope to get out of this process?
We have always been seeking information and accountability, and it has been over a 7-year quest now, pursued not only because of our own views, but because of the views of the U.S. government. A thorough, credible, transparent investigation was promised by Prime Minister Sharon to President Bush the day after Rachel was killed. Our government continues to tell us that they ask questions, they ask for accountability in Rachel's case, and that those questions go unanswered or ignored. So we are here pursuing accountability because we know we haven't had adequate answers. The U.S. government knows there haven't been adequate answers, and we're still looking for that. The process has shown us, I think, about the flaws in investigation overall that happen here in Israel. There are different kinds of investigations that occur, and they're very problematic, and I think this case illustrates it in very dramatic ways. I hope, in addition to the information that we learn about what happened to Rachel, and regardless of the outcome, I hope that it will shine light on the investigative process here, on what happens. There are so many people that are harmed by the occupation, and so little thorough, credible, and transparent investigation of that. And I think that is harmful not only to Palestinians, not only to internationals, but to Israelis as well.
And let me ask you, because it sounds as though one of the things you both are looking for is an explanation as to why your daughter was killed, but also you hope to make some sort of difference, that you want to make a difference when it comes to seeking accountability as far as the Israeli army is concerned. Do you feel, Craig, that you are making a difference? And how are Israelis reacting to you, to these lawsuits, to your presence even in Israel?
Well, I think in terms of the last question, how are Israelis acting towards us? We, of course, have a great number of Israeli friends who, in fact, came to the court today. The courtroom was full. A whole lot of the media had to stay out in the hall, and many of our friends were stuck out in the hall. They couldn't really be in the courtroom with us. There wasn't enough room. That's disappointing. But from one standpoint, we've been supported right from the beginning, right when Rachel was killed. Israeli Jews reached out to us and said, this isn't the sort of Israel that we wanted to live in. So we've had that support from the beginning. But I think on the street, you know, that's what we see, maybe a small portion of Israelis. We've had great support also from Palestinian Israelis here in Israel all through this time. And I was just remembering, because we got an email of support from Gaza, from Israeli committee,
Palestinian Center for Human Rights.
PCHR. And they were giving us their support, but of course they can't come here. They're stuck back there in Gaza. I think, you know, we are trying to make a difference in some way. In one of those things I'd say, we heard from the bulldozer driver today. He's just the person that was in the bulldozer. He got orders from someplace, he got training from someplace, and we've heard from field grade officers now, colonels, majors, who have said there's no such thing as a civilian in Gaza. And so they're somehow treating the child I saw when I went down there after Rachel was killed, little Iman, sitting petting her rabbit, a 6-year-old girl, and saying she's a combatant. This is insane. And so we need to bring that out to the open, challenge the people, and hopefully it can make a difference here.
All right, Craig Corrie and Cindy Corrie, the parents of Rachel Corrie, who was killed in Gaza back in 2003 by that bulldozer. Thank you very much for joining us on this day of what must have been difficult testimony to hear about your daughter. Thank you for joining us from Haifa there.
Thank
you.